Westside Unitarian Universalist Church, where compassion leads us to work for justice and equity. I'm glad you came today, and it's my hope that you will find something here that nourishes your heart, feeds your mind, and grows your spirit. My name is Jeff Canclini, and I'm your worship associate this morning. Be you a spiritual seeker, an atheist, or a theist, Westside is a community of many beliefs, genders, and sexualities, and a community of diverse cultural, racial, and class backgrounds, a community of varied abilities and gifts. Some here find inspiration in the great books, right? Others in the great outdoors. Others still in great conversation. Whoever you are, all are welcome in this inclusive congregation. To newcomers and old friends, both together we say, welcome. Okay. At Westside, we are raising the next generation of Unitarian Universalists, and we want them to know that they are an important part of our community. Several years ago, we chose to be radically inclusive and to adopt a multi-generational worship, where our services include all family members. So welcome all children and youth of all ages. Now, there are a number of announcements in the order of your service. Isn't it amazing how many things are going on in this little community? And it kind of blows me away. We don't have time to go through all. I'm going to mention a couple. First of all, the lineup for July is coming up. Awesome. You can't miss them. And another one, on a Saturday venue, Seth Andrews, July 20th, 11 p.m., is going to be here, and he is a former evangelist and Christian broadcaster who now hosts The Thinking Atheist, and he's a national speaker. Can't miss for that one as well. One other, Cindy asked me to mention, there are 2 letters. Cindy, where are you? All right. There are 2 letters in regards to a pro-Christian nationalist group that's going to be hosting a convention at the Botanical Gardens. Cindy has 2 letters if you're concerned about that. One is to tell the city council that this is against policy and it's not what it doesn't hold our values, nor the values of the policy. And then other to the Botanical Gardens for their attempts to not have this held there. So see Cindy after the service for more on that. All right, for those of you who are joining us online, I see you and visiting us with us today. If you're not already on our mailing list, please sign up by clicking on the link at the bottom of the westsideu.org website. And for those of you who are here in person, please take a moment to... All right, I can't wait to pick somebody out and bring them up here and have them dance for us or something. Yeah. This morning, the reflection will be given by our guest speaker, Armond Vance. Armond is a multidisciplinary teaching artist originally from Toledo. He is an active performer, composer, and educator, directing a middle school orchestra and mariachi program in East Fort Worth. Now listen to this, there'll be a test. His performance style is a syncretic. Who knows that word, syncretic? Armand's going to probably tell us. Mix of hip-hop, rhythm and blues, and classical, with violin being his main vehicle of expression. He's performed as a soloist at the Main Street Arts Festival, Fort Worth, Cowboys of Color, and the famous hip-hop violin duo Black Violin, while directing a youth ensemble. And he's also a composer and has written and arranged pieces for professional and amateur ensembles. In 2018, he gave a TEDx talk called From Bach to Tupac, where he discussed the parallels between hip-hop and classical music. So I think I'm really looking forward to hearing what he has to say this morning. Now, I invite you to take a deep breath And for wherever you are, settle into this sacred space that we create, and let us worship together as we listen to this morning's prelude, Concert Etude, Opus number 3, Toccatina by Capustan, performed by Dr. Yuki Kumamoto. Bravo. Wow. Our opening words are Embracing the Unexpected by Krista Flanagan. What if everything always went according to plan? At first, we might accomplish more of what we think we need to accomplish. And it may seem less stressful. At first, being able to anticipate what happens next. But after a certain amount of time, and that amount would vary person to person, the once comfortable, predictable would become less comfortable. And well, boring. If we always know what happens next, we lose what? The joy of surprise, the serendipitous experiences, and the excitement that comes from anticipating the unknown. Friends, let us gather with open, curious hearts, ready to explore the unpredictable, learn from its wisdom, and embrace its beauty. Let us worship together. As do many Unitarian Universalist congregations, we begin our time together this morning with the lighting of a chalice. I invite Tiffany Manigaud to come forward and light our chalice this morning. This chalice is a symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith and represents the Unitarian Universalist Association, or UUA. The flaming chalice symbolizes the heritage of our past, the warmth of community, and the light of hope within this church today.
Good morning. Our chalice lighting words for each and for all by Eric Walker Wickstrom. We light this chalice for all who are here and all who are not, for all who have ever walked through our doors, for those who may yet find this spiritual home, and for those we can't even yet imagine. For each of us and for us all, may this flame burn warm and bright. Our opening hymn, number 346, Come Sing a Song with Me, in your gray hymnal. Please stand if you are able, and so moved, and join our song leader, Sue Spell.
Good morning. All right. We're going to sing the first 3 verses of this one, please. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll
Please remain standing and join me in our affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to work for justice through action, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony with creation. Thus we do covenant with one another. You may be seated. All right. Time for all ages. Please come forward if you are young at heart and would like to have a close-up view of our Time for All Ages presented by our dynamic Director of Religious Education, Nikki Kennedy. Afterwards, we will sing our children back their songs with the song, This Little Land, number 118.
Good morning. Thank you, Jeff. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, Asher. It is so good to see you guys today. How many of you enjoyed the cooler temperatures we had? Was that Friday? That was really nice. I got a little cold, I must admit. I had to put on like long sleeve shirt because I was kind of chilly and I'd forgotten what that felt like, to be honest. And I know some of you have been at camp, different kinds of camps. I hope you guys are all having a really good summer. Today, I want to share a story with you that Sunshine Wolf wrote that I really liked. And it starts off about a little girl in a class. So, the little girl was named Amanda, and Amanda loved to help other people. I know some of you like to help other people. How many of you help other people? Some of you helped us today already. Yeah, raise your hands. You should be proud. You helped us today. You helped us in the garden. We helped do some laughter and some giggles. We had some good discussions. So, Amanda helped her Papa David and her Poppy Caesar to clean their house. She raked the leaves for her neighbor when he was in pain and he didn't feel like doing very much. And so when it came time for her class to do a project to help others, she was so excited. She could not wait to see what Teacher Mike had them do. So Teacher Mike assigned each student a community of people that they should help. Some had illness, some would clean yards. Each project was a little bit different. But Teacher Mike thought about Amanda and said, I would love for you to help feed people in Walden. And Amanda said, well, how should I do that? And Teacher Mike said, any way you can think to help people that are hungry. Amanda was so excited. She thought about it all day, about different ways that she could help. And when she got home, she talked to Papa David and Papa Caesar about her project. I want to make sandwiches and bring them to all those that are hungry. Her Papa David and Papa Caesar thought that was a great idea, and they asked their neighbor to help and the friend that she helped tutor in math, and together they made 100 sandwiches. So the next day, they took Papa Caesar, and Papa Caesar drove them to Walden. She had 100 bags with a sandwich and a piece of fruit. She was so excited to feed people. But you see, nobody wanted her sandwiches. She couldn't figure out why nobody wanted her sandwiches. She was told they were hungry. She asked Papa Caesar, and Papa Caesar didn't know why. And then Amanda saw a little girl about her age. And the girl was watching Amanda, observing her with a keen eye. And Amanda approached the little girl and said, would you like a sandwich? And the little girl looked up at Amanda and said, aren't you going to even ask me my name first? And Amanda was a little embarrassed. And she said, oh, I'm so sorry. My name is Amanda. What's your name? My name is Tiny, she said. It was a very appropriate name because the girl was kind of tiny. And Amanda shared that they were working on a class project, and she was tasked to help feed people that were hungry in Walden. So she shared that her Papa Jim Her neighbor Jim and our Papa Caesar and our Papa David and her friend Sarah made sandwiches and brought fruit to feed everyone. And Tiny laughed. She said, "Well, we do get hungry here, but we never take food from strangers. Some of my neighbors go to the soup kitchen each evening." And she paused and kind of giggled some more, and she said, "Your teacher really asked you to come and feed us?" And Amanda said yes, and she got a little upset. Why was this so funny? She got angry and she said, "Well, what should I do then if you don't want my sandwiches?" She didn't mean to get mad. Her feelings were hurt. So Tiny stopped laughing and looked seriously at Amanda, looked her in the eyes and said, "Do you really want to help us?" And Amanda nodded. She couldn't speak because she was so mad. And Tiny shared that the city gave them a garden. They gave us seeds, but most of the seeds were bad or not food that they were able to eat, like turnips. Who wants hundreds of turnips? Yuck, that's gross. So Tiny explained that what they really wanted were healthy seeds, were seeds that they could use for food, seeds that they could plant to have fresh food. And they talked, and the girls talked, and they got to know each other, and they found out they both liked jump rope, and they both liked math, and they both liked cheesy jokes, just like me. So they talked some more, and Amanda realized she could go to the city. She could go to the city council. She could go to her church and ask people to help. Ask them to help with seeds. Ask them to put in a grocery store so that they didn't have to take a 45-minute bus ride to the nearest grocery store. You see, Amanda learned a big lesson that day. She learned that you don't get to decide what other people need. You have to ask them what they need. And then you can help. She also learned that sometimes if you ask a stranger what they need, you might just make a friend. So my hope for all of us is that we listen and that we ask others what they need, that we don't make assumptions, and that we continue to engage in conversations in this community of Westside and in the larger community as well. I hope you guys all have an excellent week and stay well, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you, friends. Thank you, buddy.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Carol Kappa, and today I am your pastoral care associate. And in our community here at Westside, we make time each week to share pieces of our lives with one another. And we do this because each person in this community has value. Each person's experience matters. The pastoral care team is here for you to give a listening ear and reach out to you or someone you think we should know about that is hurting or needs a hospital or a home visit. Members of the team can be identified wearing a pastoral care team badge on Sundays. And I'm really appreciative for those who did submit something this morning. You can submit your joy or concern on one of these orange forms at the welcome desk, or you can send an email to us at pastoralcare@westsideu.org, or see any member of the team. And those members are Debbie Rake, John Fisher, Brenda McMahon, Barbara Crotty, and myself. I believe most of those are here. If you're a member of this team, would you please stand and be recognized at this time? Thank you. Thank you. So we share our concerns with one another today, knowing that sorrows come into each person's life, knowing that together we can offer comfort. And as I read your concern, if you are willing, please stand or raise your hand so that we all can know who you are. This concern is from, got them out of order here, hold on just a second. Is from a visitor, Mary Boyce. I believe Mary, there she is back there. And she's just sharing that Katie, a friend of hers, has begun her transition. Please send strength and love to her and her family. And then I'm sharing a concern, this morning after I sat in on the very tail end of our forum meeting this morning, and I plan to get more information from Cindy Fountain and Linda and Bob Hanratty, but I'm very concerned about the incidents at the Tarrant County Commissioners Court meeting this past week, where the speaker, who is the lead pastor at Broadway Baptist Church, a teacher, and also Lon Burnham were removed from the meeting because they spoke a little bit too long. I don't know how long it was. They were escorted, and now they've been banned from the court for a year. There's been nothing in the paper reporting about this, so we need to find out what's going on and get to the bottom of it. We have a concern from, it's about Ryan Regal, our sexton. Dana Tooley brought this to me. She received it from his girlfriend, Deborah Hollingsworth. And Ryan was in a car accident this morning. We don't know exactly the situation. His truck was totaled, and she was very upset and was on the way to the site. So please keep them and him in your thoughts and concerns and prayers this morning. We also share our joys with one another, knowing that joys come into our lives and that together our voices can rise as a chorus of celebration. We have a joy from Becky. Becky, I think, is in the back there. She has a little puppy dog munchkin that you may have met. Becky says, I have very life-changing job opportunity. Please send me positive energy while I make some decisions. And also she has family here in town. She's so grateful for their safe travels. And Glenda Hood, she celebrated her birthday this last Tuesday, and I'm now officially 77 years young. And then we've had updates about our wonderful member Judith Clemens from Jane Hardwick, and she continues a joy this week on an update from Judith. She continues to improve. She will be moving from rehab to assisted living soon, probably late this week. And she thanks you so much for your sparkling, healing thoughts and requests that you continue sending them because they are working. So we make space each week for musical centering, knowing the life and experience of every person matters, and together our lights shine brighter. As we hold all the joys and concerns among us, both those spoken and unspoken, let us sing together number 1002, Comfort Me, in the Teal Hymnal.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul.
Good morning. My name is Glenda Hood. I invite you to relax your mind and body and join in a time of meditation. It will begin with a spoken introduction before we move into a minute of silence. Our Tibetan prayer bowl will sound to signal the start of your own meditation, prayer, or reflection, and it will sound again at the end. Our introduction this morning is Meditation on Hands from the UUA Illuminations app. I invite you into a space of quiet and peace to ground yourself by noticing your contact with chair and floor, by sitting straight, by becoming aware of your breathing. Look at your hands. They've been through a lot, these hands. They have strength, scars, beauty. I invite you to remember that it is your hands that do the work of love in this world. These hands may hold another's hands. These hands may type emails to politicians, sign cards of consolation and congratulation. These hands may patiently teach, quilt works of beauty, greet strangers, write words urging peace. These hands may bathe children, feed elders, nurse the ill, work the earth, organize communities. These hands clasp in prayer, open in release, grasp in solidarity, and clench in righteous anger. These hands are my hands, your hands, our hands, God's hands. A great mystery of flesh and intention, a great potential of embodied love. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen.
Here at Westside, we practice our UU faith in a variety of ways. One of those ways is to give 100% of the gifts to our weekly collection, unless otherwise designated, to support organizations who carry out our transcendent values of compassion, justice, and equity. Westside's plate offering for July is Community Frontline. Community Frontline was formed by a group of friends in 2016 in the aftermath of the violent summer that included the police murders of Philando Castile, Alton Sterling, and other unarmed black men, as well as 5 Dallas police officers. The Friends wanted to be part of the solution and initiate a long-term commitment to racial justice and healing in the Fort Worth childhood community. And it is called Stop 6. The organization focuses on 4 pillars: racial justice and solidarity, police communications, relations and accountability, mentoring and education, and community beautification and development. It's become a vibrant presence in East Fort Worth, mentoring students, men, and Black entrepreneurs. In a Fort Worth Weekly article, co-founder Quentin Q. Phillips noted that while residents of Stop 6 always had community pride, there wasn't an effective outlet for change until Community Frontline. Its neighborhood cleanups and monthly movie nights build community spirit. It provides mentoring and scholarships for students and monthly discussions on men's issues, including mental health. Community Frontline supports Black entrepreneurs. An example is the partnership with the Tubman Gallery to empower underexposed artists. It has facilitated conversations on race relations and most recently advocated for more funding for juvenile detention centers in Tarrant County. Despite challenges with police relations, Phillips remains hopeful about trust building. Donate to support this force for good in Fort Worth, and thank you. Now, you can give online through the church's giving page, located at the Giving tab at the top of the home page on our church website. Just be sure to select Service Project and add the name of today's designated group, which is Community Frontline. You can also give using the Vanco mobile app, which is downloaded from the App Store. Another easy option is to mail a check to the church at 901 Page Avenue, Fort Worth. We thank you for your offering today. Now, let us enjoy this musical offering, Sonata 2, Mouvement de Menu by Ravalkand, performed by Dr. Yuki Kamamoto. Thank you, Yuki. I'm going to be back just a second. There he is. Isn't it neat that Yuki can go from so many different forms of music? And I appreciate, I feel like we have such a gift here from her in every type of music. And we're really enriched for that. Thank you, Yuki. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. I'm pleased to turn over the pulpit to our guest speaker, Armond Vance.
All right, how's everyone feeling this morning? Awesome. Oh, appreciate it. Awesome. I'm a little tall, so yeah. Well, it is a pleasure to be here this morning. Thank you all for having me here to speak and give this reflection and share my story. I think I really love the concept of a Universalist Unitarian church, and it aligns with my own personal beliefs, and with my well, me and my fiance, it aligns with both of our beliefs. And I'm going to talk about my musical journey and how my musical journey helped me to unlock a sense of greater internal liberation, both like mentally, spiritually, and as a musician. And before I dive into the details of that, I just feel like I need to give a little bit of a background about how I grew up and came of age and all those things. So I'm from Toledo, Ohio originally. I didn't grow up in Texas, and I didn't grow up in a super. My parents were Christian. My dad, he frequently went to church. My mother, she would pray, but she didn't really like go to church, which is like, fine. It's just she was busy raising a lot of kids, and so she did what she could, and I'm grateful. And around the age of, I was always a different kid. I was always a different type of kid, and I still consider and I still have that inner child of me that is like an outcast. And I was very fortunate to grow up in an environment where I could explore and be my authentic self. Because I know a lot of kids are kind of molded and subconsciously molded into things about their awareness. But I was kind of given the ability to be, and so as a result, I was kind of a weird kid. Because I didn't really have a lot of people like at least in my family that were just like, oh, don't do that, for the most part. So I was like interested in things like space, astronomy, learning about the cosmos, and I also I really liked to hula hoop and like jump rope and do these, and I was really like abnormally good at these things, and I would like be outside and I would play outside and I would make up my own stories and like action stories and like create my own characters and everything, and then I would like basically look like I'm talking to myself, like, and the neighbor's probably like, oh, there's that weird kid again, he's out there doing it again. Yeah, and so I would do all these things to entertain myself because I was the youngest of six kids and of all various ages, so it was kind of like generations of kids, honestly. And so my oldest brother is 45 right now, and I'm 27, and so that gives you some context. Like there's a big age gap. So about the time it came to me, like my closest sister, she was 8 years older than me. So I had no one to play with because like, teenagers aren't playing with like don't want to really play with 6-year-olds. So yeah, but anyway, so I grew up in a nice environment that allowed me to like evolve into the person that I am today. And I'm grateful for that. But it was around the age of like 12 years old though that I really started to like question my own like spiritual beliefs, and like that really started to question like God, and just get really curious about higher powers and about my own ancestry and all these other things. And so it was around the age of 12 years old, I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, I think I might be an atheist. And growing up, particularly when you grow up where in a community where the church is kind of like the Christian church is kind of centered, like growing up, African American and everything, the church was like church and like and the religion of Christianity for a lot of us was like a space of sanctuary. I mean, it was a place of protest. It was a place of protest historically. It was a place of education for a lot of Black Americans very, very early on. And so I didn't, and I appreciated that. I wasn't rejecting any of those things about the history of it or my background. But when I told my mom that, when I told my family that though, that, oh, I think I might be an atheist, or I think I might not, or I'm unsure. Well, my mom was just like, okay. And that was basically all she said. My mom doesn't really use that many words when she talks. She shows her love language is more so through like acts of service. But my sister was like, "You're going to hell," and we all have like siblings that have given us a hard time, and so yeah, that was honestly that was probably the best that could have went. Like, yeah, like that was it. Like in retrospect, when I look at it, I'm like, that was probably the best that situation could have went. And then so I wasn't like I did have like family members like that, like a cousin that was more like religious, and that took me to church and tried to get me to like show me her perspective of it. And I went and everything, and like I love like going to church, like particularly as a musician, because like when I went to church, that was like my favorite part of it. And but so yeah, like it was, I had these views that were counter to like my family members, and no one in my family had ever had them before, and they're just kind of like, what? Well, they're just like, yeah, this kid's different. And so at that same age, so I picked up the violin. At the age of 12, I picked up the violin, and I was inspired. Well, my sister played it, and so I was trying to be better than her, for one. But then I was also inspired by a guy I saw on TV. He was also a Black man. He was playing violin, and he was on YouTube. This was like in the early days of YouTube, before it was like on everyone's phones. It's like with the AOL, when you had an AOL internet connections, and you had to you couldn't be on the phone at the same time, like as when you were using a computer. And so I saw him playing a song by Gnarls Barkley called Crazy, and I was like, wow, that is really cool. And then I was already like kind of a creative kid. I would draw pictures a lot, and I had definitely had a creative spirit. I just didn't know. I was just exploring the different mediums for that expression. And so yeah, I was motivated to join orchestra. I joined the orchestra program at my middle school, and I really just organically fell in love with the instrument. And at the time, I didn't realize this, but when I was learning violin, I was growing into my authentic self through the instrument. And I was also learning to accept myself more, because, I got bullied and teased and everything, because, being a weird kid, like, you're going to have those experiences. But like the violin, like I once realized I was good at it and received like compliments from others, including my friends in my class. 'Cause I would play like songs that they knew, like hip hop songs, R&B songs that were popular, and they think that's really cool. And all of a sudden I had like this confidence and like this enlightenment within my own spirit, and I was like, wow, I can do this. This is cool. I felt like I had a superpower. And then my orchestra directors saw that I was really passionate about it at an early age. His name was Wasim Hawari, and he just gave me the resources and pointed me in the right direction towards being able to play my instrument in the way that I wanted to. And I got private lessons for free through the local symphony. he encouraged me to join a youth orchestra where I was exposed to other kids that have been playing since they were like 2 years old, and that was like a culture shock for me. 'Cause I was like, in my middle school and high school, it was like more like low to medium income, and so there weren't a lot of kids with private lessons and everything, and so I went to join this youth orchestra. I was like, and then I saw all these kids that had all these intense lessons for so long, and they sounded like professionals at the age of like 13. I was like, this is wild. But that didn't deter me from continuing on my path and my destination. And so it is through music though where I went from being the quiet kid, I was more reserved, to actually having a voice to be able to like share like my thoughts, opinions, to be able to even motivated me to just like wear what I wanted to wear, find my own sense of style, and just to be myself. Like I thought I began to have a higher sense of self-esteem, and I also felt like music was just the closest thing to a religious experience that I could have, in that you can't really see music. You can hear music and you feel it and you know it's real. But you don't, but it's also like mystic, it also has like this mystical nature that's like enchanting, and that can't be explained with words alone. It's just it can't be explained with words. So that's why I'm stopping right here. So yeah, yeah, it was. It really touched on those really visceral internal feelings that I had, and I realized as an adult how freeing being able to make music is, and along that path there was bumps in the roads, and for sure, especially with being like a classically trained musician. You're going to hear me play in a second, but I kind of like I didn't do things the way that a lot of my teachers wanted me to do them. I was off the grid. Like I was, and I had some great teachers, but I also had some teachers that didn't really see that didn't really see the path that I was trying to create for myself. I had to create my own path as a musician because I like to improvise, make up my own things, compose my own music. I didn't like to follow the rules all the time, with whether that with like violin playing and technique and all those things. And I practiced a lot, but I practiced a lot the way I wanted to practice. And I also took input and advice from my teachers as well. But in college, I had a teacher that said, I had a professor, she said, "You will never be better than average." Which is wild to hear, especially as a very vulnerable like college student. You're saying here you'll never be better than average. And so, and at the time, and I didn't really take that to heart because I was like, well, who are you comparing me to? Like, I mean, what is average in, well, like in terms of like the technical abilities of violin? Like it was a weird thing to say. And also I knew I didn't want to play in an orchestra either on. I wanted to create my own music. I wanted to create my own orchestras. I wanted to perform like contemporary music, like the guy I saw on YouTube when I was a kid. I wanted to do that. And I wanted to use music continue to use music as a way to communicate what my spirit is saying. And I love like playing Bach, Mozart, Mahler, and all that, but that's not. And I love doing it, but it's not the sound of my own spirit. and it's not the message that's coming from my spirit. And so that's why I went to composing, because composing enabled me to have this internal sense of liberation. And now as an adult, every day that I wake up and I walk out the door, I aspire to be more internally liberated in everything that I do, and try to find activities. Like, because in addition to playing violin, one of the things that makes me feel very free is to dance. Me and my fiance, we love going out to dance, roller skating, making music, obviously, and yoga as well. So I appreciated that meditation that we did earlier too, because that I do a lot of meditation myself, and so. And I think when we are eternally liberated, we are eternally free, and we don't wear the costumes that we often have to wear when we step outside, or have had to wear in the past, but rather we just show up, strive to show up as who we are, without fear of like judgment, which I know is really hard. I mean, it's easier said than done, because like so much of our lives are us trying to fit into a box, and if you go outside that box, then like, you're judged, you're cast away. But I'm more of a fan of circles though, like like round shapes as opposed to boxes, and that just to be, if I was put in a box and to be like labeled as, oh, you can only be this, then I would be very unhappy. And I think there's a lot of people in our world that, because of the way our society like compartmentalizes everyone, where they aren't living in their purpose. They're not living in their purpose. They're living the way they think they're expected to live. And when I have a child one day, I want to do nothing but ensure that they're able to live in their purpose and discover who they are, as opposed to being told who they are. And so, thank you. Because I think that with a sense of, I really honestly think that if everyone was really living in their purpose, allowed to discover who they were, and they didn't conform to the expectations, whether that was like a really stringent, like fear-based religious household, or whether that was like someone's parent telling their kid they must be like a doctor or like or engineer or something like that. Like, if people just had the ability just to be and exist, I really don't think there would be many problems in this world. Honestly, I mean, we will still be competitive about sports maybe and everything, but like, but honestly, it's when I hear political issues, when I hear just people that have really strong opinions, and especially like in regards to like racial matters, which I've been very vocal about in the past. It's usually, it honestly comes down to me, from my experience, it comes down to not being internally liberated, like not being free to think, not being free to be who you are, and not having the space because of in your own mind, because of your own internal struggle with yourself. I think when we have that internal struggle with ourselves, where we're not able to be ourselves, that can cause, it becomes a lot harder to see where someone else is coming from when you can't accept yourself. And so I think that's really a core of a lot of these racial issues, or other social issues, whatnot. So, with that being said, I would like to share a piece that I've composed, that I composed 2 years ago with you all, and it's a piece that I wrote after visiting Brazil in 2019, 19, and it's the piece is called Vento Negro, and and that translates from Portuguese to Black Wind. And the reason why I named it that is because I met a jazz musician when I was down in Brazil. I was in college at the time studying music, and he said this quote that is really profound and sticks with me. He said, "Culture is like the wind," and he said that because a lot of Brazilian music, just like a lot of American music up here, was very much influenced by that of like the black population, the people of African descent in Brazil. And despite the transatlantic slave trade and everything, and despite the attempt of removing their cultural roots and their linguistic roots as well, that culture, the rhythms were able to still be transmitted over to Brazil and the United States, and those sounds and those ideas, they were able to go through the cracks underneath the doors and turn into what we have today. And I think that's very powerful when you think about it. And so, this is my composition, Vento Negro, and I'm going to take 30 seconds just to get my violin out. So, give me a second. Thank you all very much. All right. Thank you all very much. Thank you all so much. I appreciate the love and support that y'all shown and the energy of this whole church and everything. So thank you all so much for having me today. And it was very awesome to be able to share my story with y'all. So I appreciate it.
He's right. The words cannot convey what Armond gave us. You know, it's emotional, it's visceral, it's wisdom. So I'll have to digest that. And Armond, you got to come back. All right, please rise as you're able. Join together in singing our closing hymn today, number 108. My life flows on in endless song in your gray hymnal.
We'll be singing verse 1 and 3 today. 1 and 3. My life goes on in endless song of lovers' lamentation. I hear the real, the far off hymn that is a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I cease from singing? When tyrants tremble as they hear the bells of freedom ringing. When friends rejoice both near and near, how can I cease from singing? To prison cell and dungeon toil, our hearts to them are ringing. When friends for shame are undefiled, how can I sleep from singing?
Our closing words today are Be About the Work by Andrea Hawkins Kemper. May we see all as it is, and may it all be as we see it. Maybe we be the ones to make it as it should be. For if not us, who? If not now, when? This is the answering the cry of justice with the work of peace. This is redeeming the pain of history with the grace of wisdom. This is the work we are called to do, and this is the call we answer now. To be the barrier and the bridge, to be the living embodiment of our principles, to be about the work of building the beloved community, to be a people of intention and a people of conscience. The chalice is now extinguished, but the light lives on in the minds, hearts, and souls of each one of you. Carry that flame with you as you leave this place. Share it with those you know, with those you love, and most especially with those you have yet to meet. Please join me in the congregational closing. Go in peace, seeking justice. Go in peace, committed to equal rights and opportunities for all. Go in the peace that is created when together we build communities of true solidarity, deep compassion, and fierce, unrelenting love. Go in peace. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen.